audio from Mansfield Reformatory from one of the first trips I made. And I found a good example of working with audio, or in this situation, a potential EVP that I was able to capture. As you can see, it was captured on my Sony P520. It was inside the administrative building. And the question that I asked was, could you have any pets? And if you go and you look at the overall waveform that's present here for the question, which is here, and the EVP itself occurs somewhere in here. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys an example of how I pick out EVPs. In this situation, I was by myself in an administrative building, and I asked the question, could you have any pets? So we'll start off here by just listening to the audio in the section that I really want to focus on, which is here.
You don't want to have any pets?
So, if you got an ear for this, you could almost hear the EVP. It occurs around here. What we're going to go through real quick is just taking that section where we believe the EVP occurred, amplifying it, hearing what we need to hear, then taking a, taking a noise reduction, which we need to take a, a noise profile. Once we have the profile, we can start cleaning it up. So what we're going to do here is listen again, and then we'll go through and we'll find exactly where we're going to
You don't want to have any pets?
So right here is where the EVP occurs. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here to effects. We're going to go up here to amplify. We don't want 30. We can preview here. And then we're going to say, okay, this is what we want. Now right here, it sounds like a bunch of garble, but you can hear the enunciation of the words. You can actually hear words being pronounced. It's a long sentence that we're getting for an EVP. What we want is to get rid of all that background noise. Sounds like trash. If you want, in this situation, so we're not taking away from the actual EVP itself, you go and you take the selection of where you think the EVP occurs, extend it out just a little, go to effects, go to amplify. Let's crank it up to 25 instead of 20 this time. Close enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in here in this back end, highlight this back end of the section, go over to effects, go over to noise reduction, get noise profile. What that does for us is it takes that background noise we're trying to get rid of, and it gives us a profile of the noise. So when we come in here and we select the whole thing and we go to effects and we go down to noise reduction, we can then take that and get rid of some of that noise. So typically I like to do things in sets of 3, 6, 9. For this one, I'll just do 9. Come down here to preview and let's hear what we got. So what we end up getting now is the noise that we don't want to hear sort of subdued. And the pronunciation and the EVP becomes highlighted. So now we begin to hear what she's saying. We go. Now we have something that we want. Now we can start working. So a thing that I do that helps me is as I amplify and as I noise reduce, I go back and I get a noise profile of each portion. Because if I amplify to 30, get that section of noise that I don't like, clear it up. Now that section, that noise reduction portion that I get has changed. So I want to try and clear this up more. We'll come back in, We'll do some more noise reduction. This time we're not going to go as strong. If I do 9, you're going to start to hear distortion in the audio. You hear that? It's like a wavy, fluctuating distortion. You don't necessarily want that. It just sounds bad at times. So we'll just take it down to 3. And let's look. So it doesn't sound as bad. It is still there. But we're starting to hear more of what the EVP say. So there are different tools you can use here. You can go to amplify. That'll bring it up some more. You don't necessarily want that here. You can go down to filter curve. I have presets here that help me manage what I'm doing. And you can go to preview. We're still getting a lot of that background noise, okay? So what I want is I'm going to listen to it again. So I want to get rid of that higher end. So I'm actually going to choose a portion of the EVP itself. Go down to noise reduction, get noise profile. Come here. We're going to highlight the thing again, and we're going to do another noise reduction to see where we're sitting at with this new noise profile. We'll take it up to 6. So it sounds slightly better. And that's what this is going to be all about. It's finding where you hear there may be a potential EVP, amplifying it, listening for the pronunciation there, figuring out what part of that audio and that background noise you need to filter out. It's not going to just be, you know, cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste of the same portion of the EVP. You have to find different portions inside of there, get noise profiles, and figure out what works best. If you've got one word that's sort of being drowned out, tinker with getting the noise profile around that area. So anyway, next we'll come over here. I keep going back to amplify because sometimes amplification sort of normalifies things. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but sometimes it may want you to drop it down. It'll say a negative. You should consider that. So here I can come over to maybe normalizing it and preview. Okay, so let's try okay there. And then what happens, you can take the whole thing, go back to effects. Let's normalize it, preview. So we'll go to okay that. Let's go back to amplify and see if they want us to drop it a little. Let's preview that. So okay. Now there's a lot of other things I'll do, but I'm not going to go over that. So what I'm going to do here is let's bring over the original file. So here's the original file down here, and up here is our cleaned up file. So let's listen to the original file here and see what difference we made. So there you go. That's about it. So there you go. And then let's come up here, mute this guy. I could have just did solo. And let's hear the big change we made here inside of this file. So that's your basic EVP cleanup. There's a lot of other things I can use. I suggest you try them too. It's all just a combination of amplification, noise reduction, normalization, filter curve, and many other things. When you get in here, you can play with all of these effects. I suggest you get familiar with, let's see here, reverse. Reverse comes in handy. If you've seen some of my other videos, I've actually shown you how sometimes you can get a very clear response. and it just makes absolutely no sense. You have to start considering, hey, is this response we're hearing a foreign language? If you don't know the language, then you try and reverse it, and sometimes when you reverse it, you get a very clear response. Check out my page, my YouTube page. You'll see it on there. It's called Reversed EVP Response. And if you guys like this video, take a second and like and subscribe. If you want to hear the whole report from Mansfield Reformatory, I'm currently working on all those EVPs. I just thought this one was a good example, so be on the lookout for that one here shortly. You got any questions? You can get a hold of me on Twitter at JosephSturgill7. I'm a very responsive person, and if you like to talk, I am there for you. Again, this is your EVP. This is your EVP cleanup.
You have authorized any check? You have authorized any check?
You know, after that, figuring out what they said is a completely different story. Thanks for watching, y'all.